A family's homeowner insurance canceled because of some leaves on the roof. We'll show you your rights as insurance companies look to cut their risk. Beauty Dupes, 5 skincare products for under $100 that work just as well as the expensive brands. Lower interest rates may have you looking to buy a car, but prices are already going back up. Expert insights into the best time to buy. And before you do your holiday shopping, I'm going to show you how to use apps that will really help you save big money. And welcome to Dollars and Cents. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm your host, Heather Sullivan. Now, if you own a home, you already know insurance has been skyrocketing. Insurance companies are reeling from the onslaught of disasters in Texas, Florida, and California. Well, a Lake Jackson family says their homeowner's insurance was canceled right after they bought it simply because of some leaves on the roof. Was it part of a growing trend of insurers cutting their risk? We went over to see what's going on here.
We designed everything ourselves.
79-year-old Cammie Johnson has lived in this Lake Jackson house for 40 years, along with her collection of frogs.
So all the frogs have a story, from where they came from.
The back of the home was damaged in a severe storm on May 13th. So it was after this tornado hit the house.
Right.
What kind of damage did she have?
So she had over $100,000 worth of damage taking out this entire side of the house.
Cammie's son Chuck Andrews says her previous insurance policy covered the repairs and a brand new roof. Then he says about a month ago, they bought a new homeowner's insurance policy from a different company, Allstate. But he says first, the policy was incorrect.
And it says, my mom's roof is 9 years old. It's only 66 days old.
After having that corrected, Andrew says Allstate then sent his mother a notice of cancellation and this photo saying the roof has debris built up over time and one or more of the trees was touching the dwelling. So at one point, you're saying that the insurance company said that this tree was a problem.
Yes, the branch is touching the roof, in which case it's not touching the roof.
So they've never been touching the roof.
Never have.
And the debris, Andrew says, was simply some leaves.
This incredible scrutiny, which is, again, crazy and ludicrous, that if you have a leaf on your roof, we're not going to write your policy, or in my mom's case, we're canceling your policy.
The Texas Department of Insurance says insurers can cancel new policies, change premiums, or ask for risks to be mitigated within the first 60 days, which Johnson's policy was.
They can come out and do inspections, look at your roof, look at your appliances and things like that, and they can make adjustments at that point.
TDI says they don't hear about many cancellations, but complaints about non-renewals have risen from 16 in 2020 to 56 just so far this year. Though TDI says insurers have the right to decide not to write or renew a policy.
If your company is telling you that it's not going to renew your policy, they have to give you some notice. They have to give you 60 days notice. And they have to tell you why if you ask them for a written explanation.
Back at Cammie Johnson's house,
if we blow those very dangerous and high-risk leaves off this roof, they said they will rewrite the policy.
Which Allstate did, sending us a statement. We're in touch with the customer and the issue has been resolved. Allstate continues to offer new homeowner insurance options to consumers in the state of Texas. But Andrews hopes telling his story will help turn over a new leaf.
My intent is to inform Texas homeowner consumers that you have rights, and I'm calling on the Texas legislature to start changing some of these rules.
Now, Andrews filed a complaint with the Texas Department of Insurance, and they helped to resolve the problem. And TDI says they work to resolve disputes between insurers and their customers. So if you have a dispute or even a question about your policy, you can call TDI at this number. It's 1-800-252-3439. You can also hire a public adjuster, or of course, you can hire an attorney. Meantime, Zillow is now offering climate risk ratings for home listings on its site. Nearly 30% of the properties now come with detailed information about flood zones, wildfire risk, hurricane winds, and more. Fox's Jessica Formoso gives us a look.
As natural disasters become more frequent and in some cases extreme, homeowners are severely impacted, often left with thousands of dollars in property damage. That is why now many potential buyers want to know what is the area's climate risks before purchasing a home.
It gives people the ability to take another data point, things like school scores, things like walkability, things like community scores. But now you can also add to that climate information, and people can understand, what is the risk for this property? What's the risk for my community, not only today, but into the future?
That information is now available in a feature on Zillow. First Street, a climate modeling company, has partnered up with Zillow, offering comprehensive flood, wildfire, heat, and air quality data on home listings.
It really takes all of our climate hazard data, which is developed at a property-specific level for floods, wildfires, hurricane winds, drought, heat, and even air quality from wildfire smoke. It makes that data available at the property levels.
That data comes directly from listing pages showing the risk scores on interactive maps and insurance requirements.
What we've seen in the past is in a controlled treatment design where we've exposed half the people to the data, the other half of the people weren't exposed to it. We saw that after exposure, the people that were exposed to the climate data systematically started searching for lower risk properties.
Projecting a home's climate risk 30 years in the future, Jason Orsini is a licensed real estate agent for Douglas Elliman.
I have a listing that's available right now in Oceanside, and right there on the website says it's a high risk area for a flood zone. So it could potentially hurt sellers, but it also educates buyers as well.
He believes it's a very informative tool.
Because a lot of agents out there don't know what flood zone or high risk areas are. And it's not just the flood zone. It's the wind factor. It's all these other 5 factors, fire factors and stuff like that.
All right, we all know the cost of skincare can be expensive, especially if you want the stuff that really works. So we invited Sarah Tucker with Your Aesthetic Edit to show us some skincare dupes. These are products that really do work, that you can buy all these for under $100. So Sarah, thanks so much for being with us.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
And you're an aesthetic editor, which I think is so interesting. Tell me a little about what you do.
So I've been in this industry for 30 years now, and I find that women were always asking me for advice, friends, etc. So I just started reviewing products for different beauty companies, like with unbiased reviews. So I'm not compensated, but they send me their products, and then I'm able to write reviews and present that information to people so they can make their own choices.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And then sometimes we'll book consults so I can go to their homes and help them kind of, really edit through their supply of things to save them money and time in the long run.
We have so many things we've all bought that are sitting in drawers. So let's narrow this down. What's the first thing that we can talk about that will really help us save and work?
Absolutely. So a cleanser. This is not a place to drain a lot of your money. You're looking for ingredients instead of a brand. So this cleanser is under $20. It's available at mass merchant retailers, and it's got ingredients like ceramides in there that are they're hydrating for skin. They protect your skin's barrier. So not a place where you need to drop a lot of cash to get the good ingredients.
And of course, we all want a little retinol because that helps with the aging process. Tell me about this.
Of course. So retinol is an ingredient that any skincare expert, including dermatologists, are going to tell you is essential for every regimen. So it's not a place where you need to drop a lot of money. You don't need a brand name. You don't need to get a prescription. This brand Rock here from the drugstore is perfect. It's not quite prescription strength, but it'll do the job.
Now, I have all kinds of moisturizers from the expensive to the cheap, and like I said, half of them are sitting in the drawer. So tell me about this moisturizer.
So La Roche-Posay is it's a great drugstore brand. It's a French brand that makes beautiful products. This has some really key ingredients that you're going to hear about right now, ceramides as well as niacinamide. So a great option for adding hydration as well as some anti-aging benefits, but at a very affordable price, because you're getting a lot of your anti-aging ingredients here in your retinol. So this is just helping balance it out.
Okay, now let's talk about eye cream.
Yeah. So this is an eye balm. ladies, I mean, I know we all are always looking for a great eye cream, right? Yeah. This one has retinol in there, but it's a buffered form that's really gentle, so it's not irritating. And yeah, it's going to help address, you know, fine lines and wrinkles, laxity, etc., but for an affordable price.
Okay. And then finally, we've got sunscreen.
Yes, I absolutely love this formula. It's from CeraVe, a well-known brand in drugstore mass merchant retailers. And it's hydrating. It's a mineral sunscreen, so you shouldn't have any irritation. It's also tinted, so I don't like to wear foundation, so it's nice to give a little color and even out the skin. Mm-hmm. You also have niacinamide and ceramides. So really you're helping restore that moisture barrier, and it's at a really great price point.
Okay. Yeah. And then my producer is asking, because you're curious about this, what about hyaluronic acid? I'm probably saying that wrong.
I know, it's a hard one.
Yeah.
Hyaluronic acid.
Yeah.
So HA is a fantastic product, ingredient, and it's in a number of these products here.
Yeah.
So it holds 1,000 times its own weight in moisture. So it's a humectant, so it draws moisture to your skin and plumps it. Uh-huh. So you're going to find it in lip products, body lotions, mm-hmm. serums, moisturizers. Just an excellent addition that anyone can use. Non-irritating, yeah. And yeah, it's just going to help restore your moisture.
Well, wonderful. Yeah, well, we'll have this on Sullivan Smart Sense on Fox26Houston.com, so you can see these are dupes. These are lower cost dupes that work just as well as some of the really expensive stuff out there on the market.
Sure.
So, Sarah Tucker, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, Medicare enrollment is now open through December 7th, and there are some changes this year that could help members save some money. One of the biggest changes is due to the Inflation Reduction Act, and it's that Part D plans, that covers prescriptions, must cap out-of-pocket costs on covered drugs at $2,000 a year.
So like, let's say you're on a few medications that are tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, instead of going into the donut hole where your copays would shoot up into $400 or $500 per month, you're going to have that $2,000 amount, and that's the end of it. That's as far as it'll go. It is not inclusive of your drug premium, so it is besides that, but it is going to offer at least $1,000 a year, if not more, in relief for folks at the pharmacy on those medications.
Yeah, now that cap includes deductibles, copays, and co-insurance for covered drugs, but it does not apply to premiums and drugs that the plan does not cover. So it really is important that you still want to shop around for the best plan for your needs. Other big changes include expanded benefits for family caregivers, access to more mental health providers, and Part D plans can cover weight loss drugs if they are prescribed for other purposes, such as diabetes. Now, seniors can go to Medicare.gov to see which plans include their physicians and their medications. And seniors can also get free Medicare benefits counseling. This is fantastic. You can get it from several local agencies, including the Houston Galveston Area Council on Aging. Their number is 1-800-437-7396. And you'll find links to all these resources on Sullivan Smart Sense on Fox26Houston.com. Well, as interest rates have finally begun to drop, many of you might be looking to finally buy that car. So joining us is Carl Brower with IC Cars to explain how these dropping rates are impacting both the new and used car markets. Thanks so much for being with us. Great to see you, Carl. Okay, I'm not hearing him. If we can make sure we've got his audio.
You have me?
There you are. All right. Thanks so much, Carl. Yeah. Okay. So we just saw our first of what's expected to be a few more cuts by the end of the year in the federal interest rate. Tell me what you're seeing and how this is impacting both the new and the used market.
Sure. I mean, that's the tricky thing with interest rates. If they go down, people tend to do more shopping and buying, and maybe the dealers realize this and maybe the prices go up because you end up still paying about the same or a little less on your monthly payment with the lower interest rate. And sure enough, we saw both new and used car prices tick up a little bit last month after dropping, fairly consistently for most of the past year plus. They're still lower, much lower than they were a year ago, but they're also still much higher than they were before COVID, of course.
Okay, because that was my next question. Once you said they started ticking up again, is how are things looking? Did we see some of that decline after we started to see those prices decline? Like are we basically living with much higher prices for cars these days?
Yeah, we really are. I mean, we had a big demand spike and a supply drop when they shut down all the production of new cars a couple of years ago, and it kind of built up a lot. Picture like a dam with a bunch of water building up. We finally got a release with all the cars being produced again, but there's a lot of demand still pent up. And of course, we've got inflation. So we're slowly releasing the pressure of the pent up demand, but we're kind of being countered by inflation compared to 5 years ago. And the result is that cars, again, they're cheaper than they were a year and a half ago, but they're still far more expensive than they were in 2019.
Are you seeing any particular deals out there, any types of cars that might be a good buy?
So electric cars on the used market have really come down. They don't hold their value real well on the used market, which means if you're a used car shopper and you're looking for a couple-year-old electric vehicle, now is a good time. Now you're seeing some decent deals on them, and they look like they're stabilizing. I wouldn't have told you to buy one 6 months ago because they were still dropping aggressively. They seem to be stabilizing now. So a used electric vehicle, probably a good deal right now.
And so as we're in the fall months, I know that that's when a lot of the manufacturers start to roll out some of the new models, but we're also expecting more rate cuts. So what are your thoughts about when is a good time to try and cash in on these cuts and buy a car?
Sure. What always happens is the next year's models are coming out. We're going to see the 25s arriving at dealerships now, which means if there's leftover 24s, you can sometimes get a better deal. And like I said, electric vehicles on the used market, on the new market, maybe like sedans, SUVs are still the popular thing. So you're finding some new sedans that are going for lower prices. And if you need a smaller, fuel efficient sedan, there's not a lot of demand for those necessarily. You should be able to get a better deal on those right now, especially a leftover 24.
And one of the other challenges that buyers are facing, of course, is insurance rates just keep climbing and climbing. Do you have any advice for helping people? Because they really need to be kind of looking both at the cost of the car and the cost of their insurance, right?
100%. And I've heard some crazy stories about people who bought a car, didn't even think about it, and then when they got their insurance estimate, they were not happy. Research what a car is going to cost you on your insurance before you buy, and consider other things, whether it's maybe looking at competitive rates, maybe raising your deductible if it makes sense for you, ways to cut those monthly premiums down. But they have really grown, and people are starting to feel the pinch there.
All right, some great insights and great tips. Carl Brower with IC Cars, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so we got the car covered. Now let's talk about your holiday shopping. Many retailers have already started holding early Black Friday sales. I'm sure you've seen them, Amazon, Target, Walmart, many of them. They're all looking to capture your holiday spending now. But how do you know whether you're really getting the best price, or maybe should you wait until Black Friday? Well, what you want to do is use one of several price tracking apps. They include Honey, Karma, Capital One Shopping, Slick Deals, and Camel, and there are even some more out there. These are free browser extensions. You're going to download them onto your browser, and then you just simply enter the product that you're shopping for. So let's take a look at Camel. Now, it only monitors prices on Amazon, but let's say we want to buy this portable gas generator. You scroll down, it shows you that it typically sells for about $350. Then it dropped to $320 back in August, and then it dropped again to $290 recently. That's been the best price we've seen so far. Now let's take a look at a Samsung gaming monitor. Its price is about $3,000. On Black Friday of last year, it dropped to $2,000, but then we saw that it dropped even lower to $1,800 during Amazon's Prime Big Deal days. So you really want to look at that history of prices to see if you're getting the best price or maybe the best time of year when it typically drops. Now, these price trackers are also there to help you. You can set up alerts on them on a product that you want to buy, and then you'll get a notice when that price has dropped, so you can snap it up at the lower price. Now, once you've found the lowest prices, there are some cash back apps. These are free apps or also browser extensions that you simply download, and they can give you coupon codes, discounts on what you're shopping for, and they will send you cash back when you make a purchase, and that adds up to even more savings. So cashback apps include Let's take a look here. We've got Fetch Rewards, you've got Retail Me Not, Upside, Ibotta, and Rakuten. I'm going to show you how Rakuten works. So first, it's a cash back app. It provides direct payments to you every 3 months. It has more than 3,500 stores, so a whole lot of retailers, and it issues payments by check or through PayPal. It also offers savings on things like travel. So you've got airfare, hotels, car rentals. Now let's take a look at Retail Me Not. This is also a cashback program. You can download it onto your browser and it will help you find the best deals on what you're shopping for. It is known for giving out those coupon codes, and in fact you can even stack coupon codes on some things for even more savings. And then you can also activate offers for cash back, and you'll be paid via PayPal or Venmo. And let's take a look at Fetch Rewards. This is growing in popularity. It lets you snap a picture of a receipt from any purchase, or you can shop through the app. You're going to earn reward points that you can then redeem for gift cards or cash cards, and you can earn points on just about anything from products to some groceries. So that's just a few of them. All right, a Baytown gas station was fined $50,000 for price gouging during Hurricane Beryl. The Harris County attorney announced the penalty against Superstop after it says it hiked fuel prices more than 40% during the storm. Now you might be wondering, well, what's the difference between price gouging and surge pricing that we see so often? Well, Fox 26's Abigail Dye breaks it down.
$50,000. That's how much this Baytown gas station was fined for price gouging during one of Houston's toughest times.
They didn't have no electricity or nothing, and gas prices and people getting gas was harder to come by and stuff. So freaking, yeah, it really did hurt a lot.
Brian says during Hurricane Beryl, the last thing any of us needed was a price surge on necessities.
That ain't cool because a lot of people are in like trouble and freaking need help and stuff.
Here at Superstop right now, you can see that the V-Power gas, it is priced at $3.79, but this photo taken back on July 9th during Beryl shows that it was priced at $5.49. That's about a 44% hike.
During those times, we need businesses who are operating as good neighbors, not trying to make an extra buck on the backs of residents in Harris County. During Hurricane Beryl, we received more than 250 complaints.
Harris County Attorney Christian Menefee says they sent Superstop this cease and desist letter, but they didn't lower prices.
We had no choice but to go after them because they were trying to take advantage of Harris County residents.
Now, dynamic pricing or price surging is when a business raises prices when demand is high to maximize profits. You've probably seen this with services like Uber during peak hours. But Texas law makes it illegal to do this while the governor declared a state of disaster with necessities. That's when dynamic pricing becomes price gouging.
Trying to follow the supply and demand curve to make a profit when people are without water in their homes, you're trying to make a profit on water. It's illegal.
That's right. Okay, so the rising popularity of weight loss drugs is pushing more U.S. companies to take a look at covering the drugs in their insurance plans. An annual employer health benefits survey by Kaiser Family Foundation reveals 25% of companies in the U.S. are considering covering the drugs. Without insurance, a 1-month supply of Wegovy or Ozempic runs more than $1,300. Well, the feds are warning consumers about fake pharmacies. Instead of receiving their medications, many patients say they've received everything from incorrect doses to illegal drugs. Fox's Duarte Geraldino has the story.
Scammers are flooding the online pharmacy market with dangerous concoctions that are at best useless and at worst deadly. Federal officials say one woman in the U.S. thought she was ordering oxycodone from an online pharmacy, but what she got was laced with fentanyl. She died, and now the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration is sounding the alarm.
Have you seen patients who have used counterfeit drugs?
They're using drugs that they're buying online. They're not really sure exactly where they're coming from.
Dr. Sophia Lubin is an OBGYN at Symphony Medical. She says as the online pharmacy business grows, so does the problem. According to a report from Akivia, illegal online pharmacies dispensed 85 million prescriptions in 2022. That's no surprise to cybersecurity expert Robert Siciliano.
I'm not at all surprised that there's a counterfeit market, and it's going to get a lot bigger due to the sheer volume of online drugs being sold today.
Precedence Research estimates the global market for legitimate online pharmacies is nearly $100 billion. Dr. Parvi Parikh adds, the landscape is changing.
There are a lot of online pharmacies that may be legitimate. Amazon is now moving to an online pharmacy, and then there's certain things like cost plus drugs.
The DEA is reporting a sharp rise in fake pills sold online, often laced with fentanyl or methamphetamine and marketed as oxycodone and Adderall or Xanax. Dr. Sue Ojiger suggests making sure your doctor is directly involved if you use an online pharmacy.
If a doctor's office is sending it directly to an online source or pharmacy, then you know that that pharmacy is working in conjunction with the physician's office and they have some credibility.
And when you get your medication, check if the packaging is broken or damaged. Duarte Geraldino, Fox News.
And finally, Halloween is just around the corner, and how much we spend to enjoy this holiday is actually kind of scary. The National Retail Federation says that we're going to throw down a cool $11.6 billion this year. But at the same time, many families are looking for ways to save. So Fox's Sue Guzman shows us how to find some really great costumes on the cheap.
While inflation has been cooling, many Americans, still mindful of their finances, are looking to treat themselves to some cheaper Halloween fun this season. And it all starts with finding the perfect outfit.
A great tip to save money on a costume is to go thrift shopping.
According to data from Goodwill's 2024 Halloween survey, 57% of those who will celebrate this year are planning on using secondhand items to make do-it-yourself costumes.
You can take any amount of clothing that you have and be a zombie by ripping it up.
Scarecrows are another easy option, especially if you're the parent of young kids who are in between sizes.
Kids, they grow out of clothes so quickly. So what you want to do is take those clothes that are a little shrunk, a little worn, knees blown out, get a little bit of straw, stick it in their hat, baste it in with a couple of hand stitches.
And as the countdown to Halloween ticks louder, Coco Mayer, costume studio supervisor at The Ohio State University, says you can find plenty of tutorials online to help get your creativity going.
Don't wait till the 3 days before Halloween. You want to give yourself time. Nothing's worse than a rushed costume.
Meanwhile, for folks who want to save pennies, finding the perfect pumpkins.
Right now, we feel like 2024 is going to be an above average year for both yield and quality.
Agricultural experts say the prices may depend on where you buy them from, but say costs this year could be similar to seasons past. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
All right, and that's our show. Thanks so much for joining us. Drop me a line anytime on Instagram, Facebook, and X. It's all Heather Sullivan, Fox 26. And you'll find more ways to save every day on Sullivan Smart Cents on fox26houston.com. Hey, we'll see you next time right here on Dollars and Cents.